Welcome to today's simple mobility routine. We're going to be going through some movements for the spine, the hips, and the shoulders. So all the major joints of the body anyway. Now the movements we're going to be going through are all relatively simple. You can do them at your home or at your workstation at work if you need to, as long as you have some room to move around close to your desk or maybe even on the floor a little bit. So we have a few movements to get through, so let's go ahead and get started. The first exercise is going to be a standing pelvic tilt. And you can use a table. Hey, buddy, I'm going to be using that, okay? You can use it here in a little bit when I'm done. Using a tabletop or a desktop where you can place your hands, pull your feet back away a few feet, and that way you have some room to move through your lower back area. A big thing here is that you can have a soft bend in your knees, but your legs, you're not going to be shifting your whole body weight forward and back very much. Another way that you can do this, and actually my preferred way of doing this rather than the hands, is being down on the elbows. And personal preference of mine, I like being on my elbows because I feel like I can prevent my upper back from moving more when I'm on my elbows as compared to my hands. So let's go through a few of these. I just want to roll through. Simply focus in on pelvis to tilt forward. So there's an arch in your lower back. You'll feel the lower back muscles contract, and you may even feel some tightness develop in the backs of your legs. And then you can go the opposite way, rocking the pelvis posterior, which is going to put a stretch sensation in your lower back or rounding through your lower back. And you should feel some contracting, maybe deep in the abdominal area. And then let's go the opposite way again. So tilting forward, putting an arch in the lower back area. Go as far as you can. And when you feel like you got to that end range, those muscles you feel contracting in the lower back, try to see if you can get those muscles to contract just a little bit more. And then reverse it. Good. When we reverse it, you should feel it pulling in the lower back and contracting in the lower abdominal area. Now, as I rock through these, I'm going to go ahead and go into that anterior pelvic tilt again. As I go through these, I'm paying attention to also what my upper back is doing. I'm actually trying to keep my upper back from doing anything at all. It's staying perfectly in place. It's all coming from kind of this area through here. I'll help you in a little bit, okay? Just give me a few minutes. I know. Back into posterior tilt. You just got to give me a few minutes. And I want to go through this. I usually spend several minutes, maybe 3, 4, sometimes 5 minutes, just rocking back and forth through the biggest range I can. And I say the biggest range I can, noting that this is relatively a small motion. So you're going through as much of that as you can, trying to get as much of the feels in your lower back and lower abdominal areas as you go through these two motions. Standing hip cars or controlled articular rotations using the same setup. Again, you can do this using your hands, or you could go with my preferred route of using the forearms. So my position is the exact same as we were with our pelvic tilts, but now I'm going to bring my feet a little closer together, and that's simply because I'm moving one leg at a time here. So starting off with the right leg, I'm going to bend that knee as far as I can, and I think if there's a marker attached to the tip of my kneecap, what do I have to do to draw the biggest, smoothest circle I can? I start off by simply driving the heel straight back to the sky until I run out of room. Then from there, I twist the thigh outward toward the sky. Then I drive the thigh upward towards my elbow. When I feel like I run out of room, I sweep it back into the middle, start my next rep. Heel to sky, knee to sky, knee to elbow. We're going to do 3 in each direction on each leg. Now, if you're going any faster than me, slow down, match my speed, exhaust every motion that you have before you move on to the next. I can't go any back than I am now. Then I twist out till I run out of room. Up to the elbow. Till I run out of room. Back to the center. Now we reverse the direction. Knee to the face. Knee to the sky. Heel to the sky. As I go through this, slow motion, max range in each direction, and not letting your back and your pelvis help. What I mean by help is, as I come forward, I'm not rounding forward. As I go out to the side, I'm not opening up my whole pelvis. As I lift my heel to the sky, I'm not arching. It's 100% hip. Let's do the other side. Left leg. Heel to sky. Knee to sky. Knee to elbow. You'll probably notice, like I am right now, that there is a range of motion difference between your right and your left leg. This is a bit more challenging for me to control on my left leg. Finishing up number 3, this first direction, max out every degree of range you have in one motion before you move on to the next. Reversing the motion. Knee forward, out to the sky, heel up to the sky. That's a big emphasis on hip rotation. What you doing back there, buddy? Heel to sky. You're not getting into stuff, are you? Oh. Last one. Heel drives up. That's internal rotation right there. When your heel comes up, your thighs rotating medially towards your body. Internal rotation. Good. Moving on to the next. For this, start in a standing position. Your feet underneath your hips, maybe just a little bit wider, toes out, kind of whatever's a comfortable standing position for you. Now from there, you're going to reach down. You can bend at your knees. And I want you to simply, you can grab onto your ankles like this if you would like, or you can put your hands on the ground if you can do that. From there, your knees are going to go to the outside of your arms as you sit down as deep as you can. I'm going to change my hand position here. I'm going to put my hands on the ground. Now, once you do that, come back up. Keep your hands planted wherever you have them. Just get your knees as straight as you can. I can only get mine right about there right now. Then we're going to drop down again. Again, knees go to the outside of your arms. Chest comes up as deep as you can. Back up. Get those knees as straight as you can. Down. Up. That's 3. Honestly, I like to do 10 of these. Down. Everybody's different. Do as many as you can and through the range of motion that you can. And back up. Giving you another angle. Knees come to the outside of the elbows. Chest comes up. And then hips come up. Knees go back. Again, is whatever range you have. That's what you're working with. Down. Up. Down. Now, one thing I think about as I do this is I'm trying to get my knees straighter and straighter every single rep. I'm finally able to get my knees straight here. It took me a few reps, but I got it. And then get as deep as you can. I'm just going to do 2 more. Now 1 more. This is a really good way to gradually not only work through full hip range of motion, but then also gradually stretch out the hamstrings, especially if that is a really tight spot for you. Next is shoulder cars, and we're going to try it from a low position here, whether that's a fully squatted position that you see here, or you can have something that you're sitting down on. Maybe that's a really short stool. And I bring that up as an option because I understand that this position, many people cannot get into as comfortably as I can, and that's okay. So that's why it's good if you have a stool or something that allows you to get as low as your hips and your knees will let you go while keeping your feet totally flat on the ground, so you can work through these shoulder cars. CARS stands for controlled articular rotations. We just did these for the hip just a few moments ago, and now we're doing them for the shoulder. So one arm at a time. If you're down here like I am, I'm just going to put my hand on the ground. If you're sitting in your stool, you can just bring your arm by your side to get it out of the way. Starting off with the right arm, you're going to lock it out, sweep it across your body, try to wipe your nose with your bicep, and then bring your bicep up to your ear. Now there's a marker on the tip of your finger, and you're trying to do the biggest, smoothest circle you can using only the shoulder joint. Now, as you sweep through that circle, there's some rotation that happens, and I'll show that to you from the side view here in just a moment. But focus on doing the biggest, smoothest circle possible in both directions. So now we're coming back up the opposite way. Bicep comes back across the ear and across the face. Let's do another one. We're doing 3 in each direction here. So I'm really reaching up. You're moving just as slow as I am. Notice my elbow pit now rotates away from my face as I'm rotating. And I keep trying to twist the arm in that same direction, elbow away from the face as I go through the whole circle. And then I reverse that. As I come back around, I'm gradually rotating the elbow pit back towards my face. This will make more sense when I show you the side view on this other arm. So elbow pit comes across the body. Right now it's facing my head. Then I think rotate away. Biggest circle possible. Finish the circle all the way down. Reverse it. Elbow pit rotates towards my face. Biggest possible circle across the body to finish. Okay, now from the side, same motion, opposite shoulder. Pay attention to your elbow pit. First, sweep across the body. Elbow pit comes up to the ear. Elbow pit starts to rotate away. Now you can use my thumb as a reference point here. I continue to rotate away until my palm is facing away from my body with the thumb towards the sky. Then I reverse. Lift, rotate the elbow pit back towards my head, all the way back up. Finish your rotation. 2 more. This is internal rotation of the shoulder during this part where the elbow pit goes away from the face. Thumb goes down and in. You end with palm out, thumb up. Reverse. Also, when you're either in a deep squat like I am, if this is where you're at, or if you're seated as low as you can on a stool, you'll notice that there's less opportunity for your trunk to do a bunch of moving around. Like it actually kind of helps you keep things locked in place, so it can only come from your shoulder. The motion can only come from your shoulder. Unwinding. All the way back up to the start and across the body to finish. Coming up on the home stretch here, I'm going to do some hip things really quick. This is what was called the hip sleeper. So you can sit on the ground like I am here, supported by your hands with your feet wider than your hips. Essentially, the hip sleeper is being able to keep your foot planted and keep both sits bones or butt bones on the ground as you let one leg fall in, feeling it pull tight on the outer aspect of the hip. And then you can also do it on the opposite side, hip sleeper motion. Now, if getting up and down off the floor is something that's challenging for you, or you just don't have the the range of motion to really get what you need out of this position, you can use a stool in this position as well. Maybe that same stool that you were using for those shoulder cars a little bit ago is perfectly fine. It gets you up off the ground a little bit. You're just going to sit up nice and straight. Keep both sits bones on that stool as you let one leg fall inward. You should still feel like it's pulling tight on that lateral aspect of the hip, or maybe deep inside the hip joint. And you can do that on both sides. So either way you're going about this, on the floor, on your stool, we're going to go through the same number of reps. So get your position. Both sits bones, again, should not leave the stool or the ground. And those are those big bony prominences up underneath the butt cheeks. Keep both of them on the ground. Let's start with the left side. You're going to rock that left hip in until you feel that stopping point. And I want you to give yourself some overpressure, like you're actually flexing the muscles, try to push into that stopping point a little bit more. Release. Opposite side. Find the stopping point. I notice I don't have as much range of motion on this side. Push into it. Release. There's one. Rotate in, push into it. Release. Rotate into it. Keep that sits bone on the ground. Release. 2. Push in. Release. If you find that you feel a lot of pressure in the knee area as you're going through this, you can adjust your foot range, your foot position. You might see me do that a few times. And that's simply because if I feel stuff, stretching, tension, pressure, whatever in the knee, that's simply showing me, okay, I need to adjust something so I can get the majority of my feels up in the hip, because that should be the star of the show here. Going down and in. We're just going to do a few more on each side. Good. Again, find that point where you feel like you kind of get stopped. As long as that sits bone is still on the ground, use those muscles that are contracting to give yourself a little bit more pressure into that range. Back out. One more on this side, as far as it'll go. Release. One more on this side, as far as it'll go. You can take this one more step further if you're on the ground like me, and you can actually use this to go ahead and get all the way into a hip 90-90 position, where there's 90 degrees between the front and back hips, 90 degrees at the back knee and the front knee. And you can work on simply moving through this position one side to the other. And this is really what we just did with the hip sleeper, but taking it through an even broader range, but we're also allowing some other things to move along with the hip joint itself, like the pelvis. So I can transition over to the opposite side by first lifting up that back leg as far as I can. I think I want to get max distance between my two knee joints. And then once I do, that's when I'll let my trunk roll open with it. Max distance between two knee joints. And then once I'm done here, I shift open, let this knee come up. And then I switch over to the opposite hip, 90-90. And you can reverse this direction. Peel open the back hip until you run out of room. Let the trunk roll with it a little bit, keeping that knee pinned until you run out of room. That's when you let that knee come up. Switching over to the opposite side. It's a nice way that you can take something like the hip sleeper and easily progress it into deeper ranges like we have with the hip 90-90. This is a good short session. It doesn't really heavily focus on any one joint. It really encompasses moving through full active ranges of motion through the lower back, the hips, and the shoulder joints. Tallest you can get it?
Yeah.
You better be careful.
I got it.
You did it. Don't fall off there. Dude, you're nuts.